say it. The Halo community is killing the series it says it loves. And we're going to talk about why. Well, first we're going to start with the story. There's a lot of issues people have with the story. One of the big ones that I do think has just a little bit of merit is no split screen. They did take out split screen in Halo 5, that is true. And it is a very iconic thing for Halo. However, the degree that this has just, it's gone out of proportion. It's really, really ridiculous. They act like it's the end of the world, and it's really not. I'm pretty sure with all the outrage that has gone on with this, 6 is probably going to have split screen again. And I agree, they shouldn't have taken it out of the game, but all the flack that has come from this is just a little much. A little much. I will say there is another argument where they talk about having the 4-man squads in campaign now. This has no merit at all. This is ridiculous. There's a lot of games like that. Gears of War, for one, has a 4-man squad. It makes you feel like you're not the only person in the universe, and I don't see anything wrong with having an actual blue team. I've always wanted to have extra Spartans in the Halo universe. And I don't see any issue with 343 putting blue team or Osiris team in Halo. I don't see the issue at all. Moving on. Another thing is the vehicles. The vehicles feel different, a lot of people are upset about, in particular the Mongoose, or the Gungoose. Why that is, I don't know. The only thing I can really say to you is, it's a different game. And this is the first game the Gungoose has really had, because Halo 2 Anniversary, yes it was in that, but it wasn't really a game for the Gungoose all its own. It wasn't in campaign or anything, it was in multiplayer. And then in 5, the Gungoose is in campaign and in multiplayer, and there's just no reason to be upset about it or say, oh, it feels different. Well, yeah, of course it feels different. It's a different vehicle. It's a new vehicle on a new game platform. So why the issue is with that, I don't know. Another new thing is the rocket launcher. It's been 40-some odd years since the events of Halo 3, going to Halo 4 and to Halo 5. I mean, they never just researched weapons or anything. They never came up with anything else. There's nothing wrong with them making more weapons. That doesn't make sense either. That's just ridiculous. It really seems like a lot of the old Halo players are just trying to come up with anything they can find to discredit 343 and discredit Halo. And who cares what a rocket launcher looks like? They have the Spanker rocket launcher and this new rocket launcher too. They gave you both worlds. I don't see what the issue is with them adding a new weapon in, because I never once heard anything about the needle rifle or the focus rifle, plasma caster, none of that in Reach or any of the other games. Another big thing is the sudden rush of every Halo game being the same. Listen, no Halo game is like the other Halo game, I'm sorry. That's not true. Every Halo game has been absolutely different. I mean, yes, the mechanics share the same a lot. They are all inspired from each other, that is true. But the way Halo CE plays compared to Halo 2, how it looks, how it feels, is different, just like in Halo 3. And Halo 3 is really different. Halo 3 especially, and one of my big issues, I love all the Halo games, but one of my big issues with Halo 3, two of my big issues actually, is that it's really bulky in Halo 3, and it's very cartoony, compared to Halo CE and Halo 2. But never once did I hear anybody say anything. That doesn't make sense. Because I don't get how you could be mad at one, but you're not mad at the others. Or even more so, you're mad at 4, you're mad at 5. You're not mad at 1, you're not mad at 2, you love 3. Doesn't make sense. That is no merit.
Blue carrier spotted.
Halo CE and Halo 2. Here's one big thing. They never really tell you much of the story. And I'm not discrediting it. They have a great story, but they never really tell you much of the story underneath. 343 and its games, as far as 4 and 5 go, have been a little bit more indiscreet, telling you it is very more lowbrow. But Halo C and Halo 2 pretty much didn't tell you anything. Because if you really think about it, there's a lot of talk about Reach in C and 2, but you never really notice it because just like in the start of Halo 2, the fleet that destroyed Reach was 50 times this size. Okay, that's cool, but everyone thought the same thing. Well, what the heck is a Reach? I don't know what that is. Is that a candy company? Do they make chocolate bars? That sounds good. Reach chocolate. You don't know what it is. You don't know what happened. And even then, at the ending of CE, all of a sudden, all the Marines, just everyone died. Everybody died. And unless you read the books, you wouldn't know why. But 4 and 5, in particular 4 for this part, did a really great job with introducing the Prometheans. Perhaps it was a little fast. Some people say that whatever. But they explained what they are very well. But if you're just running and gunning, no, you wouldn't understand that. You wouldn't get it. I understand that. But once again, that it's not fair to call them out on that. But I will say one thing though. Here's a good criticism. The sudden brute power armor from Halo 2 to Halo 3. This is one thing I have never heard anyone call Bungie out on, and I am going to call them out on. Not because I hate Bungie or because I have an issue, because I want to give 343 a fighting chance and Halo in general a fighting chance. And that's fair. But just all of a sudden though, the brutes go from Halo 2 to basically pretty much naked. All of a sudden they have power armor. But not once did you hear a word, or there wasn't a mission where you go and break into like High Chariot or something like that where they're producing this armor. You never once saw where it was getting produced or how. And everyone knows why they did it. They wanted it to match up with the elites, because in Halo 3 the elites and your Spartan character all have energy shields. They want the brutes to have a fighting chance, because brutes in Halo 3 were kind of fairly weak compared to 2, where they were a little more strong. And I get why they did it. But, once again, there was no explanation for it. Here's another thing to Cortana. People are upset about her coming back because they don't necessarily understand why. And that's a fair point, but again, another fair point is, well, how did Sergeant Johnson survive CE? Because I don't know if we were playing the same game or not, but the last thing I saw in the 5-second time frame was Sergeant Johnson hugging it out with an elite just before the ring exploded right next to him. And I fail to see how in that time frame just a Spirit or a Phantom showed up, evac'd them both to a flagship, and just slip spaced out of there. And they just let him go. I don't think so. I have a hard time believing that. And we never really got an explanation, not really even in the books. And I've only read a couple of the books, but the one I read, I've never really got an explanation for that. So if you're gonna be mad at Cortana, well, once again, no one criticizing Bungie about that. And a lot of people say that the Halo 5 story is kind of dry. Well, the thing is, not every story for every game needs to be a grand slam. Take Gears of War, for example, Gears of War 4. The story, it's a nice story, but it's not a grand slam. It's not meant to be a grand slam. It's meant to introduce a new saga, just like Halo 4 and 5 have done. Halo 4 introduced a new enemy, Halo 5 is stamping out the universe. But the thing is, if we try to knock it out of the park every time, it's gonna get dry, it's gonna get boring, because you're just not always gonna be able to one-up yourself. You shouldn't get everything in front of your face. Because Halo 4 and Halo 5 tell a lot of story. It's just not in front of your face. And there's nothing wrong with that. So it's not really fair to say that Halo has a boring story in 5, or even in 4. It really does tell a lot. You just have to know where to look for it and understand it. Whereas in CE and 2 and even 3, if you didn't read the books, you'd go through the entire series and you wouldn't really know anything. And another one, moving off the story after this one, is well, actually 2 more. Is the Palmer hatred. A lot of people are upset about Palmer because they think she's replacing Sergeant Johnson. Not necessarily. I mean, I don't really have an issue with her. I like her. It's nice to have another sassy character, you know, whatever. Even lastly, Halo 4 and 5 are doing what Halo CE and 2 did. They're stamping out the universe again. They're introducing new characters. And that's fine. And if you see, and I can understand why people might be a little upset for, if you've never played Halo Spartan Assault, this lady is amazing, man. You should see what she's done. I'm not saying she can take Sergeant Johnson over. That's not what she's meant to do. She's meant to be another character. And that's all. And we'll talk about the Halo 5 ending and move off of the story. A lot of people are upset about the cliffhanger for the Halo ending. But if you really think about it, they left a lot for us to think about. Because Infinity slips spaces away from Earth. There's a Guardian at Earth. And not to mention, the Chief, Palmer, Arbiter, Halsey, they're all on St. Helios. Even though the Covenant is defeated, probably, there's still a lot of hostile factions to the Arbiter on St. Helios. So there's going to be probably a lot of elite activity in Halo 6. That, it leaves a lot of story for us to think about. So, moving on to the multiplayer, let's talk about the MCC stall out. This is one thing I will say, it is fair for 343 to get a little criticized on, but not to the degree that they have. Because yes, it stalled out when it came out. They launched it early, it was a mess. Everybody knows that. That's a fair accusation. But some people are still just hanging on to it so much that it's a little ridiculous. I mean, they fixed it though. A lot of games have gone like that, stalled out completely, and never gotten fixed. They've just, and 343 just keeps getting hit and hit and hit with it, and it's time to let it go. Another two big mechanics from the game is sprint and aiming down your sight. Now in Halo Reach, they made you sprint by using an armor ability. And here's the thing, a Marine in the Halo universe can sprint, can aim down his sight, and does not drown in a Dixie cup's worth of water. A Spartan cannot aim down his sight, cannot sprint in most of the Halo games without an armor ability, and does drown in a Dixie cup's worth of water. If a Marine can do more than you can do, you should probably not be a Spartan. I don't care if you're the Master Chief or not. If you have 6 Banshees shooting fuel rod cannons at you, you are not freaking briskly jogging anywhere. You are running, man. And another thing is, a lot of the 343, a lot of people against 343 said that 343 did not listen to them. But, well, yes, they did. On a lot of occasions, yes, they did. Because the Halo 4 classes were a big issue, and they weren't in 5. I don't necessarily dislike the Halo 4 classes. I like it. I'm more of a competitive player for Halo. I think Halo competitive should be bare bones, but, I mean, it's fair to have classes, too, on another, like, not ranked or arena, but some other type of section. Put it in Warzone or something, you know? There's a lot of stuff you could do. And Halo 5 is based on a competitive and free play style. Not to mention, it made MLG, and Halo is going to make MLG again. It's already making HCS. Halo made Xbox, you know, and just because Bungie is not here anymore, even though technically, yes, they are, because a lot of the members at Bungie work for 343 and through the whole entire process. So it is kind of still Bungie, and even then, how could you be mad at 343? You love Bungie so much as one of these original players. How could you not trust Bungie to put it in capable hands? That's what doesn't really make sense. Because technically when you're saying, oh, 343 messed up, 343 messed up, well, no, technically Bungie messed up, right? And moving on to the final 2 points of this, well, let's talk about this one, the Halo sales. Halo overall has sold consecutively pretty high. Halo 5 itself sold just under what Halo CE sold. It's really not even that much to cry about. It was just under. And I bet the rate of return for Halo 5 versus Destiny, I bet Destiny is significantly higher. And moving on to the very final point. All these old Halo fans, they claim they love Halo. You go on YouTube, you watch the video, it starts with, I'm an old Halo fan, but, and then they go into, here's why I hate Halo 5 and Halo 4. Every Halo since 343 took over. But they love Halo, right? Well, let me leave you with this to think about as a community. They say they love Halo, but they'd rather see 343 fail than they'd rather see Halo succeed. That doesn't sound like a fan to me. What do you think? And that's what I'm going to call it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to have another one up very soon. I thank you for tuning in.